We're back for our UFC Fight Night. Garcia versus Onama. Best bets here. We've got 13 fights from the UFC Apex this Saturday. And while the UFC may not be on the marquee for many sports fans this week, hey, we're still going to be watching the Apex this week. So we have 5 best bets for this card. Again, a little bit difficult, honestly, to find really good value bets, in my opinion. A lot of stuff up on the card, high up on the card, on the main card. So we'll get into that in a second, folks. But before we get into the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more UFC content here on the channel. We have been blessed next week with another Apex card. It's Gabriel Bonfim taking on Randy Brown in the main event. So full card predictions out on Sunday for that. PFL is off until December. So again, more UFC weekly here on the channel. Again, hit that subscribe button down below for more. Main channel, Greedo plays college football predictions, NBA, MLB best bets. You're not going to want to miss that. Let's get now to the first of our 5 best bets for this card. This may be the only undercard fight I talk about on the entire card. It is. Wow. Yeah, I'm telling you, a lot of the value for me is in the main card here. I'm looking at some of these undercard fights. I'm like, all right, Talita Alencar, Ariane Carlosi, not touching that. The Phil Rowe fight, I'm all right. I'm not going to bet on Alice Ardolin to beat Montserrat Ruiz. Like, Dumont should beat Vieira, but I'm not touching that. And the other prelim fight two prelim fights are Kuamba Chang Ho Lee, Kevin Christian versus Billy Alekina. I don't really want to bet on the 6'7" guy who's coming off the Contender Series and hasn't fought in over a year. I don't want to bet on that fight at all. So we're going to go with this. This is the only prelim fight I'm betting on. Again, the second leg of the parlay we'll get into in a second because that's a new fight. But Dante Johnson takes on Cedricus Dumas here. That's the first leg. We're taking Dante Johnson to beat Cedricus Dumas. Dante Johnson's at a much more natural weight class. Like I went over early in the week, this is a guy who fought in the Contender Series at 265 pounds. Shades of Nick Maximov, right? Just wanted to get a shot in the UFC, just wanted to fight in the UFC. Fought at 265, relatively short notice, got a first-round knockout victory, initially booked against Nick Klein, which, if you've watched Nick Klein fight, you probably knew how the Dante Johnson-Nick Klein fight was going to go. Instead, Klein pulls out. Johnson now is a pretty sizable favorite over Cedricus Dumas. He should easily handle Cedricus Dumas, in my opinion. I question a lot how many damn Cedricus Dumas gives about the sport of mixed martial arts anymore. I get it, again, UFC fighter, but there's a lot of outside of the octagon things that I just don't love. And this fight, to me, feels like that the UFC is just trying to throw him out there to lose. You're taking the fight on short notice. It's against a guy who hits like a truck coming down from 265 pounds. Or really, he weighed in at like 207, 208. So really a light heavyweight. But no, he's a middleweight. He's a middleweight going, fighting his natural weight class now after fighting quite a bit at 205. Taking this fight seriously, cutting weight now to get to 85. I absolutely love it out of Dante Johnson. Hits like an absolute truck. Cedricus Dumas, for me, not sold. Got knocked down the first round by Michal Zolshashek. Had his fight ended against Zach Reese due to a groin shot. It is what it is. That happens, I guess. But you look at all Dumas' fights in the UFC. I mean, his wins are Cody Brundage, Abu Zaitar, Dennis Tululin. Losses are Josh Friend by submission, Nurslan Ruzaboyev by Ipoka Doom, and then a knockout loss to Michal Zolshashek. For Dante Johnson, sure, it's the UFC debut, but I mean, this guy is absolutely huge. He should be a very heavy puncher for 185 pounds, and I'm telling you, he's just better than Dumas. Yeah, Dumas is going to have a big size advantage on him in terms of height. Dumas is 6'2", Johnson's 5'8". I just don't think Dumas is going to be able to match him power-wise. And at the same time, like, Dumas is not a good enough fighter where, he can just use his jab and stay out the shots, stay out the way of big shots from Dante Johnson. I just don't think it works like that for Dumas, in my opinion. So I'm going Dante Johnson to win. Second leg of the parlay, I do have some explaining to do here. It's Alan Nascimento. I know, again, at the beginning of the week, we picked against Alan Nascimento, and obviously I'm not now changing my pick on the Estevam fight. I really was not going to include that fight at all in the best bets. However, Alan Nascimento gets a new opponent. Estevam pulls out of his fight against Nascimento, and now we get Cody Durden. Cody Durden, guys, has lost quite a bit. He's lost a lot, actually. Durden's been a loser in 4 of his last fights, and sure, he's fought relatively difficult competition, I will give him that, but you've lost that much, and now you're taking a fight on short notice. I get it, Durden's a little bit of a company guy, and I don't think they're going to cut him with a loss here. With a loss, Durden would be 6-7-1 in the UFC, so I highly doubt they get rid of him, but it would be 5 of 6 losses in a row for Cody Durden, with the only victory in there being Matt Schnell, who's very easy to beat, at least, 2024 and 2025 Matt Schnell. Durden's been on the wrong side of some beatdowns recently. I mean, had a very not back and forth, but had a volume-heavy fight against Josh Van that he lost, got knocked out by Jose Ochoa in Atlanta. It's a fight that Durden starts off all right, gets out there the second round, immediately gets dropped and knocked out. And sure, he's had enough time to recover since the loss in Atlanta to Ochoa, but that's in June. Now here we are in September. Again, that's enough time, but I don't love the short notice nature of it. You've lost 4 or 5, Ulanbekov, Silva, Van, Ochoa. Okay, you beat Schnell. All right. And yeah, Durden's thing's wrestling, but I think Nascimento, I mean, this guy's been preparing for a fight. I think the jiu-jitsu out of Nascimento might give Durden a lot of trouble as well. And also, again, this is the thing with Nascimento. He just misses weight. We've seen this multiple times out of Nascimento. Chansey's just a weight bully in this one, and his grappling and his size can be huge in this one, especially for Durden, who just took the fight. And it's still at 125 pounds, which I'm a little surprised with considering Nascimento's, weight struggles in the past and Durden taking the fight on short notice. Kind of assumed this one was going to be at 135, but no, it's at 25. Maybe that was a Durden move by saying, okay, I still want this guy to cut the weight. I can get down here, but I don't love the short notice nature. And I think Nascimento wins, Dante Johnson wins. That creates a minus 135 parlay. I'm going to take it again for two guys who should easily win their fights, and Alon Nascimento and Dante Johnson. Only main card fights from here on out. I'm telling you, the value is not on the undercard this week. We're going to start things off on the main card. I guess the Nascimento fight opens the main card, but here we go. Second fight of the main card, Charles Radke versus Daniel Frunza. Okay, so at the beginning of the week, on our predictions video, I hinted to going with the under in this fight, and I was really close in doing so before I saw the value on Charles Radke double chance in terms of knockout or decision. Radke by either or is minus 105. Now, I didn't think we were going to get Radke, honestly, at a playable price. I thought he was going to be too big of a favorite to go out here and win this one. I mean, just straight up on the odds, you're looking at Radke at minus 175 to beat Daniel Frunza right now. And obviously, I'm not going to play minus 175, but what I will do, I'll just cut out the submission aspect of this fight and say, likely, I think Radke wins by knockout, but there's a potential for the decision as well. And no world do I see a submission, though, for Charles Radke. He has not won by submission since the CFFC championship fight back in 2023 against Raheem Forrest. Other than that, for Charles Radke, it's been stand and bang, straight brawling style out of Chuck Buffalo. And I think we can expect the same exact thing here tonight on Saturday night against Daniel Frunza. I think we can. Look at every fight that Radke's had so far in the UFC. Blood Diamond fight's a weird one because, again, Blood Diamond's just a straight kickboxer. He's, one of Izzy's guys. Weird stylistical fight. But look at what Radke does to Gilbert Urbina, knocks him out in the first round, then gets knocked out by Carlos Prates, knocks out Matthew Semmelsberger, and then gets finished in the second round early by Mike Malott. Now, the over-under for this fight was 1.5 rounds. It was at plus money. It was like plus 105. I just feel like this is safer to me. I don't think Frunza's that good. I mean, guys, Daniel Frunza put up one of the worst performances you're going to watch in a UFC debut. And really, strike for strike, it's not horrible in terms of volume-wise, but every single shot Reese McKee hits him with, every time Skeletor touches Daniel Frunza, it's like the touch of death. Frunza immediately goes down. I mean, 43 significant strikes on both sides of the coin in that fight, but Reese McKee in 5 minutes drops Daniel Frunza 3 times. And I'm like, I can't do that. Frunza gets hit way too much, and McKee gets hit quite a bit as well, but the difference was, Frunza wasn't making McKee pay for, the shots he was landing. And we saw Frunza on the Contender Series also get knocked down as well. He came back and won the fight, sure, but, he gets beat down quite often. Like, that first round that Frunza has in the Contender back in 2024, he's getting dominated in the first round, comes back and wins it in the second, but to me, Radke should outclass him here. Am I saying Charles Radke's a future champion? Am I saying Charles Radke is going to be a future ranked fighter? Not at all. He's just on a higher level than Daniel Frunza, who really, to me, doesn't right now seem like he's a UFC caliber guy. And that's the truth around it. I mean, Radke, had to go through some, trials through the regional scene fighting in CFFC, and now he's a 3-2 UFC fighter with some big knockout victories at the same exact time. And again, I'm not too concerned about the submission aspect. That's just not going to happen. We're probably going to see a knockout here, and if not, if Frunza survives, it will be a decision. What I don't imagine happening, though, at all, is Frunza winning. It would have to be Daniel Frunza landing a bomb. Because that's the one thing about Radke, again, it is stand and bang, it is a brawling style, I don't care how many times I'm going to get hit, I am going to be able to eat more punches than you are, and I am going to continue to be able to walk forward. That's the Charles Radke mindset, and that's okay. I don't think Frunze's got that power to put him away. I know Frunze knocked out some guys in LFA. Guys, until I see it in the UFC, I'm okay. Again, his win in the Contender was great. It was a come-from-behind victory. He was clearly losing the first round. He found a way to win. So again, that resulted, and that was a big reason into why Dana gave him the contract. But so far in the UFC, and I get it. It's one fight. And I don't want to put too much just on a fight against Reese McKee, but it's the nature in which he lost that fight and the fact that he did look so outclassed. And every single time, again, it's 5 minutes, but every time McKee touches him, he goes down. I hate it. I hate it a lot. Again, it goes full on war mode, but if you do that against Radke, the same exact thing's going to happen to you. So I gotta go Chuck Buffalo here, Charles Radke to win this fight against Daniel Frunze. If a submission happens, I'll be damned. I'll eat my shoe. Like, I hope that doesn't happen, but Radke should be able to win by either knockout or decision. One thing about Radke, he's 35, which I don't love, but yeah, whatever. It's one fight in the Apex. He should be able to get it done. Most likely knockout at the beginning of the week. I picked first round knockout for Radke. Decision is possible as well, though. Regardless, give me Chuck Buffalo to get it done. Hopefully he keeps it calm for his post-fight interview. Give me Charles Radke by unanimous. Not unanimous. First round knockout. My goodness. First round knockout for Chuck Buffalo. On to our third best bet of the video. We go to our only over-under on this card. Oh, it's not. Okay. I don't know why I thought this was the feature bout. We'll get into one of the other fights. I'll say now. The Jeremiah Wells Thembo Godimbo fight in a second, okay? This is out of order. It's okay. Waldo Cortez Acosta and Ante Delia over 2.5 rounds. This is fine. I mean, I would be shocked if Delia knocks him out. That's really what we're looking for here, guys. It's, can Waldo stay out the way of getting knocked out? It's really what we're betting here. And, there's a chance Delia outclasses him and if the fight goes late, sure, I think Waldo's going to be able to survive. And I'm not that impressed with Delia's hands. I'm not. I'm a little concerned with this play, honestly, truth be told, that Waldo just knocks him out. And I know that's not, the flashy pick that everyone's picking. Like, I know a lot of people are on Delia this week. I took Waldo Cortez Acosta personally, but I just don't think Ante Delia is that good. I've watched Delia fight a lot, more than, just the normal person has. Because, again, I'm very big on PFL. Not because I love the promotion, just because, I want more mixed martial arts to watch, at least on a global, national scale. So I watch PFL a lot, and I've paid very close attention to the heavyweight division through the Capolosas of the world, through the Ante Delias, through the, Denis Goltsovs, through the Hanan Ferreiras. Like, I've seen all of their champions come up, essentially, at 265 pounds. Guys, Delia is not this crazy finisher you'd think he is. He's really not. I mean, I saw him knock out Chandler Cole, but I mean, that's not a high-level guy. A lot of Delia's wins in PFL went to decision. Denis Goltsov, Shelton Graves, Maurice Green. And yeah, he knocked out Tybura. Great. Again, maybe I should have saw that one coming. I just thought Tybura was going to be able to see a lot more success, and I thought Tybura was just, honestly, going to be better than what he showcased in the fight against Ante Delia. Again, my fault, bad read, and I'm not even going to try to tell you Waldo's elite, but it's going to be difficult for Delia to just walk in there and knock this guy out. I get Delia's a huge dude, but Waldo's pretty big as well. Actually, Cortez Acosta is the taller fighter. Waldo's 6'4", Delia's 6'3", and the reach advantage, actually, it's even. They both have a 78-inch reach. But if Waldo goes 3 rounds with Sergey Pavlovich, I don't think Delia's knocking him out. And I know, again, the latest thing on Sergey is, he's a decision merchant. He can't knock anybody out anymore. While that may be true right now, which is weird because, you saw Pavlovich's big rise where he was knocking everybody out, I don't care. If you go 3 rounds with Sergey, and I know Sergey doesn't swing for the fences like he once did, but if you're able to eat, those shots that Pavlovich will land, you're fine by me. Again, if he doesn't get knocked out by Pavlovich, he's not getting knocked out by Delia. I'm more concerned that Delia honestly gets put down and put out here. I am. Delia's been knocked out. I saw Vadim Moldavsky knock this guy out in the first round. I saw Bruno Capoloza knock him out in the first round. That's what I'm scared of. I don't think it's going to happen, but, I mean, Waldo has knockout power. He doesn't always showcase it. Look at the Ryan Spann fight. Puts him away in the second round. That's more of my concern personally. It is. It is Waldo getting the finish. But if I'm Cortez Acosta, I'm looking at this fight, and I'm thinking, okay, pathway of least resistance. Don't get into a firefight. Chop his legs out, use your jab, and find a way to win a decision. I mean, guys, if Waldo wins, it's a huge victory for him. Because if Waldo wins, you're coming off a victory, and you can get a Derek Lewis fight right after. Lewis says he wants to fight Waldo Cortez Acosta. If Cortez Acosta is able to get this one, he immediately puts himself in a fight night main event, probably January, February, in front of a crowd, Who knows where that would be at, but somewhere in America in a random city against Derek Lewis in a main event. So get there any means necessary, right? Because we know now, like I know this was kind of an out there prediction, but I mean there's a chance that Derek Lewis could have winded up into a title fight, assuming Aspinall, or if Aspinall went out there and beat Ciryl Gane. Obviously that didn't happen, and we're gonna wait for Aspinall Gane. I hope it happens in December. It better happen in December, but I don't even know if Aspinall can see just yet. Anyways, that's out of the picture. Obviously, Lewis is not going to walk into a title shot because now we got to wait for Gane and Aspinall too, and Volkov is just right there at the same exact time. Again, I really thought they were going to try to squeeze the winner of that fight out if it was Zhaitan. They kind of have to give it now if it's Volkov, even though it wasn't a great win for Volkov, but he got it done. It is what it is. I could go either way on the scorecard, but it's fine. I'm not gonna call robbery at all. The scorecard is fine. But if I'm Waldo, you got to do any means necessary to win this fight. Because you win, Lewis already wants to fight you. I'm not saying he beats Lewis. I don't know if he does, actually. But huge opportunity. Fight night main event in front of a crowd. I mean, guys, arguably, Waldo should be in the main event tonight. But they don't, respect him enough. He doesn't have the name value just yet. You win this fight, and by hook or by crook, it doesn't matter. You find a way to win, use your jab, win a decision, you get Derek Lewis. Because here, UFC sees, oh, you're winning. We don't really like you. We're going to send you to go lose to Derek Lewis. Because Lewis wants it too. So I'm just saying, that's out there. Waldo needs to fight this fight smart, not get knocked out. I'm going to go Waldo Cortez Acosta. We're going to go Salsa Boy to win the fight by unanimous decision. Again, over 2.5 rounds should hit, in my opinion. Next up, we go to the fight that I scrambled. It's the feature fight on this card. Jeremiah Wells versus Themba Gorimbo. Now, guys, here's the thing. Beginning of the week, I probably wasn't going to feature this on the best bets. And you might ask, oh, what changed between, Themba and Jeremiah Wells? Well, it's what Themba Gorimbo's saying. Themba Gorimbo, and I quote, says on Media Day today, or yesterday, I've got kids to feed at home. My kids are more important than his kids. If I have to kill a man, I will. Wow. I mean, hey, the first part of the statement, sure. And I get what he's saying on the second part of that statement as well, right? Like, again, if I have to kill a man, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do anything necessary to win this fight. Okay. Go out there and prove it. I mean that's legitimately what I'm looking for here. Did I originally pick Themba to win the fight at the beginning of the week? Yes, I did. I originally took Themba, and I'm going to continue to roll with Themba. But after hearing that, I don't know. I mean, this would be as bad as like when Justin James bet on himself and put his entire fight purse on the line and lost. Like, you cannot lose this fight if you are Themba Gorimbo here. You have to win. You cannot go out in the media and say that. And I don't even know what Jeremiah Wells, like, guys, I'll be honest, I did not see a clip of Jeremiah Wells Media Day. Don't get me wrong, don't act like you saw any clips of Media Day either, because, it's an Apex card, nobody really cares. But there's been no headline out of Jeremiah Wells. When you search the name Jeremiah Wells on Twitter right now, the top thing that pops up is about Themba Gorimbo saying he needs to kill a man. That man being Jeremiah Wells. So, again, if you're Themba, absolutely, you need to back it up here. You need to walk that walk. Walk that talk that walk, whatever. I don't know what the saying is. You need to actually go out there and prove it. Now, originally, I was already picking Themba, and I'm picking him here again. He has not fought in about a year, right? So maybe if you need to feed your kids, maybe fight a little bit more. But it's okay. Hasn't fought since his 52-second loss back in December of last year against Vicente Luque. You're a 4-2 UFC fighter. You had won 4 consecutive fights before the Luque fight, beating Takashi Sato, beating Pete Rodriguez, beating Ramiz Brahimaj, and beating Nico Price. Okay, the UFC still has enough confidence in you to put you as a featured fight of an Apex card, which I don't actually know how much confidence they have in you then. But again, go out and prove it. Like, you are getting a huge opportunity against a guy in Jeremiah Wells who's not very young in the sport anymore. I mean, Jeremiah Wells is 39 years of age, and he's lost back-to-back fights. Guys, this seems like an automatic pick on Themba Gorimbo. Themba's 34. I mean, yeah, he's not, some spring chicken anymore, but he's still very capable. Gorimbo can wrestle. He can strike. I mean, I really feel like Themba should have his way here. When I broke this fight down early in the week, I said, I really think Themba Gorimbo has this fight everywhere, and I still honestly believe that. Where does Jeremiah Wells really concern you in this fight? Like, again, picking Themba, where are we concerned with Jeremiah Wells? We think he can outpower and outmuscle Themba Gorimbo and outgrapple him and just put him on his back the entire fight? I mean, maybe. I'm not really concerned about the striking game out of Jeremiah Wells at all. I mean, I watched the Semmelsberger fight where he did come back, but then, guys, Jeremiah Wells hasn't won a fight since April of 2023. It's been a very long time. He hasn't fought since February of 24, where he lost to Max Payne Griffin by split decision. It's just, I can't bet on this guy. He hasn't fought in years, and he's fighting a man who says he will kill another man to get money and provide food for his family. I mean, I can't hate on that. So, again, if you're going to say all that, you're going to put that in the media, put that on the bulletin board of your opponent, Jeremiah Wells, you better go out there and back it up. Now, again, that may mean I'm going out there any means necessary and winning. I don't care how it looks. I don't care how fun it is. I'm just going to go out there. I think I'm a better wrestler than him, and I'm going to lay on him for 15 minutes. That may be what that means, too. Sure. Maybe what it is. I don't know. He's going to find a way to win. That statement to me sounds like, I need to win this fight regardless, right? Which, again, if you have multiple children to feed, maybe you should have another job other than fighting. I don't know. I don't know. Like, hey, chase your dreams. I'm just saying, like, I hope, those children are accounted for is what I'm saying. Like, I hope they, hope they have food to eat. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if that's how Themba put it out there. Like, I have kids to feed. Like, I need to win. Which, again, good on you for fighting. Like, maybe, I don't know, get another job too. I don't know. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, you put that out there in the media, though. You better win. You have to win. Themba should get it done. Going Themba Gorimbo, money line, minus 135 to beat Jeremiah Wells. On to our final best bet of the video, and it is to the main event. We are taking Steve Garcia to win straight up against David Onama. I hate that the line has moved so much, but it's an understandable movement of the line. At the beginning of the week, we had minus 110 on both sides. It was a straight, dead, even fight. And now Steve Garcia has swelled up to a minus 140 favorite. And I get it. I really get it. It makes sense, guys. I mean, you look at every single way this fight could potentially go. I don't really know how Onama wins, other than landing a big shot and knocking out Garcia. But we haven't seen, Onama do that in quite a bit. And going back and rewatching the David Onama Giga Chikadze fight, it's a lot better than I remember it being. I remember watching that fight and being like, oh man, I really don't think Onama won, or if he did, it just wasn't really too impressed by it. He had to really just ground Giga, but it is a masterful performance. I'm not gonna lie. Like, the stuff he does in that fight is a lot more impressive than you remember, and it's a good victory. It is, but Garcia is much better at this point than Giga Chikadze. I mean, Chikadze really, once he got figured out, he hasn't really been the same, and Giga's just getting older. Steve Garcia is just on one hell of a run. Has not lost since UFC 275 in Singapore. That is 6 consecutive victories, 5 of which are by knockout. Knocked out Chase Hooper, knocked out Shailan Nordembeka, knocked out Mel Costa, Sungwoo Choi, Kyle Nelson, and then just went out there and absolutely beat the living hell out of Calvin Kattar. Pitched a shutout, essentially, in Nashville, Tennessee against Kattar in July. The question really is, how does Onama win? To me, it's really just the knockout. I don't think he can purely out-grapple Steve Garcia, because Steve Garcia has an 88% takedown defense rate in the UFC. He doesn't get, in all fairness, fighters don't really try to take him down the most, but he's pretty decently sound defensive wrestling-wise. Okay. Onama knocks him out. Maybe. Onama has knockdowns in the UFC. The Roberto Romero fight, knocked out Gabriel Santos, knocked down Nate the Train in an amazing fight in San Diego in August of 22, knocked out and knocked down Gabriel Benitez. It's not really something I'm overly concerned about, though. I think striking-wise, I much definitely prefer Steve Garcia because, again, of that knockout streak. And the way, again, beating Calvin Kattar in 2025 is not something I'm going, I'm not raving about. I'll be honest with you. Kattar's lost 5 fights in a row and hasn't looked the same really since that injury that he had in the Arnold Allen fight, right? Kattar's definitely, I think, one more fight away from retiring. The UFC will probably give him one more fight, maybe if they ever return to Boston, and then he's probably done if he loses, right? Regardless, he should probably retire. I mean, in all fairness, the Max Holloway beating, Kattar was never the same. His only win's Giga. Regardless of that, he should have beat Josh Emmett, though. Anyways, Garcia looked great, though, in the Kattar fight. He does. He looks great. He's not over-pursuing a knockout, which I thought he may do, especially after getting that knockdown. Getting the knockdown late, but I mean, I was, after that knockout and knockdown streak, I was thinking, Garcia's going to really over-pursue knockouts. No, basically said, if Kattar's not going to fight me, I'm just going to beat him. If Kattar's not going to engage, I'm just going to continue to land. I'm not going to pursue anything and put myself into harm's way. I'm just going to find a way to win the fight. And that's what Steve Garcia does. You got to give the meme machine credit for that 30-27 victory. I don't really know how Onama beats him other than that big shot. Onama trying to make it a firefight could be entertaining. To me, though, if it is, like an Onama Landwehr fight, and Onama is just like, all right, I'm going to stand on business here, and I'm just going to, I'm going to sit down, and we are going to throw, and somebody's getting knocked out. If he does that, I just feel like Garcia is going to knock him out. I feel like because Onama just takes too many strikes, and Garcia just hits way too hard for that. If the fight carries on, and it's a late fight, a fight that goes into the main event rounds, whatever you want to call it, the 4th and the 5th, I like the gas tank better of Garcia. I know Onama's, tank has looked a little bit better. Like, look at the Giga fight. He's looking better gas tank-wise in the Romero fight. I'm still concerned about that overall cardio, and I think Garcia can really drag him into deep waters if need be. So, really, any way you look, I think Garcia has this covered. Wrestling-wise, well, I know Steve Garcia's not going to shoot. It would be David Onama, but I really don't think, again, watching him fight Giga and the wrestling he had, that was more so, how are we going to approach a Giga Chikadze fight? Obviously, great kickboxer, well-credentialed kickboxer. How are we going to approach and, deal with the stylistic challenge that's Giga Chikadze rather than, David Onama's just a wrestler now, because we've seen it time in and time out. Onama's not looking to go out there and just, boringly out-grapple you. So, really, and even if he does try to wrestle Garcia, we just went over, 88% takedown defense rate in the UFC for Steve Garcia. And the only guy to ever take him down, I believe, is Melt Costa, and Melt Costa went 2 for 10 on his takedowns. So, I'm perfectly fine here with Steve Garcia. He should win this fight. Again, we've covered this at the beginning of the week. Again, full card predictions are linked in the description down below if you want to see the in-depth breakdown on every single one of these 13 fights. I guess 12 because the Estevan pulled out of this fight. But to me, every facet of the game is covered right now for Steve Garcia. He has Onama beat everywhere, in my opinion. And the only way Onama wins, again, it is mixed martial arts. It's the UFC. Every UFC caliber fighter has a puncher's chance for the most part, right? So that's still there for David Onama. But everywhere else, I love Garcia in this spot. That's why at the beginning of the week, I was really on -110, and I loved it. Of course, now here on Thursday, we have -140. It's still playable, don't get me wrong. It's nowhere near the odds that we had at the beginning of the week. But give me the main event winner, Steve, the Mean Machine Garcia, winning now 7 consecutive fights, and I believe 6 by knockout. I think we do get a first-round knockout here, but again, I would not be surprised if the fight goes later on. It does not matter to me. I'm taking the Mean Machine to win. Give me Steve Garcia by first-round knockout over David Onama. Folks, thank y'all for watching our UFC Best Bets again for this Garcia-Onama Apex card. If you haven't yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. We'll be back again on Sunday for our Fight Night Bonfim versus Brown full card predictions as well. Folks, thank y'all for watching, and Mamba forever.